Morning, everyone. Welcome to number 6 of the Nutritional Lecture Series. In this particular video, we're going to talk about protein supplementation and the basics of it. And after this video, you're going to see a few more other lectures on the differences on timing and benefits of different types of protein and how to use them. So with this one, we're just going to cover the basics and do a launch pad from there. So why protein? Well, with protein supplementation, it is necessary for skeletal muscle repair. And if we go back to when the initial videos of this lecture series, we talked about the different fuel sources and we talked about carbs, fats, and proteins, where carbs and fats are our primary fuel sources and protein is not. And why is that? Because protein is utilized as a building block within the human body. And when we talk about exercise, it's primarily for skeletal muscle repair. And so proteins are made of these little monomers called amino acids. And we've all heard about different types of amino acids. You've got the essential versus the non-essential. But really what amino acids are made of is there are a group of organic molecules that consist of an amine group and an acidic carboxyl group with an organic R group, which is kind of a side chain, which helps to differentiate the different types of amino acids. And so on a typical daily basis, we need 20 amino acids for basic function. And within this 20, there's 9 of them called the essential amino acids. And why they're essential is because the body cannot produce them and you can only get them through your diet. So you need to get them through food sources. And these 9 are listed below as histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan, and valine. One that you find very familiar is histidine. We just talked about this in nutritional lecture number 5 on how histidine is combined with beta alanine to create carnosine within the human body to help with buffering. So if you're doing beta alanine supplementation, you need to make sure you're eating the right food sources to get enough histidine to create carnosine to have the benefits of beta alanine. You're going to find through all these lectures, supplementation, everything's intertwined. So moving on. So when we talk about proteins, we got to talk about what's a complete protein. A complete protein is any type of protein that has all 9 essential amino acids. And again, why they're essential is because those 9, you can only get them through ingesting food. The body cannot produce them. And so when we classify complete proteins, we typically see the big 3, whey, soy, and casein. And so what are these? Whey proteins are proteins that are pretty much isolated from whey, which is the liquid material as a byproduct of cheese production. And so, your whey proteins come from milk products. Your soy proteins are proteins that come from soybeans. So this is your vegetarian source. And then finally, casein. Casein is, again, it's another milk byproduct. It's pretty much the white part of milk. And so when you dive a little bit deeper into these, we see a lot more of your whey proteins as your daily mixtures. You get them out. You'll ingest these after workouts and so forth, because whey and soy are kind of considered your faster acting proteins, and casein is considered kind of your slower acting. And so if you don't need it quickly, you want to use it to fill up your stomach, or you take it before night for skeletal muscle repair and stuff. That's kind of where the casein comes in. And we'll tease these out a little bit more in the subsequent videos. Now, the one thing I do want to caveat is with casein is don't confuse casein protein with casein peptides. The peptides are the byproduct when casein protein is broken down, and they have different effects on skeletal muscle repair and such. Dosing. Great thing with protein is there's no loading period. You just ingest it. Maintenance is, let's start off with the RDA recommendations. And so typically on a daily basis, you'll find that males need slightly more than females. And the typical range is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight up to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. With the men being closer to the 1.2 range, with females being more closer to the 0.8 to 1.0 grams per kilogram range. And so this is just for daily maintenance, right? We're not talking about bodybuilding, hypertrophy and stuff like that. And within this dosing range, you want to spread the total intake throughout the entire day. And so it's best to spread it out to take it 3 to 4 times a day, with in between 3 to 4 hours. Additionally, you'll want to take at least one of the doses post workout immediately within that first 30 minutes, because the body is still in its reuptake mode after workout, and it helps with reabsorption. So when we talk about this, you got to look at the protein types again. And this goes back into the complete proteins aspect, because if you need to have get those complete proteins in you to help with the hypertrophic response, especially when we're talking about a heavy resistance training program or the type of training that we tend to do within our training program. Now, when we start talking about increases in body and muscle size and so forth, we want to try to increase that ingestion rate. And so when we're talking about trying to put on muscle mass, increase skeletal muscle repair, you want to increase the amount that you ingest. And so that increased amount ranges much higher than that RDA recommended range of 0.8 to 1.2 grams per kg of body weight. We start talking about 1.4 to 2.0. For women, typically you see it between, for women athletes, you see it from 1.4 to 1.6, and men from 1.5 to 2.0 grams per kilogram typically. With some of your heavier bodybuilders and stuff, really ranging closer to that 3.0, but nothing too much higher than that. Timing with protein is very important, because you want to try to target when the body needs it for repair. And so again, you want to spread your dosing throughout the day with intervals every 3 to 4 hours. Post-workout, you want to try to take one of those doses immediately post-workout. And the reason we say that is after any type of workout, whether it's resistance training, circuit training, or endurance training, there's a window of about 30 minutes where the body is still very susceptible to absorbing nutrients, because it's in that repair and replenish stage to get ready for the rest of the day or the next workout. And this is the same when we talk about carbohydrate timing, and it's the same with protein time for the post-workout. Also, you want to try to take one of these doses right before going to bed. Literature out there shows that taking a good bolus of protein before going to bed helps with skeletal muscle repair and structural repairs. And we will talk about that in a subsequent lecture. And casein seems to be the best choice for it, because it's that slower absorbing protein, so it can go throughout the entire night. And also it helps with hunger cravings as well throughout the night, if you have a higher metabolism, or even in the morning for breakfast the next day. So that's the quick down and dirty on protein. In this short little lecture, we discussed 3 different types of proteins, which are whey, soy, and casein. We defined what a complete protein is. And again, a complete protein has those 9 essential amino acids. And we briefly discussed dosage and timing. In subsequent videos, we will dive in a lot more into the dosage and timing and the effects of that, and how you can utilize that within your training program. So if you have any questions, let me know. Take care, and I'll see you in the next lecture.